Yo, what's good YouTube? In today's video, I got y'all 5 incredible loadouts you guys need to be using. So if you enjoyed the video, let's break 4 likes on today's video and make sure y'all subscribe, those notifications turned on. With that being said, let's get into it. All right, so for our first gun up here today, I want to give y'all a build here for the Compact 92. I have a couple variations of it, which I'll be able to showcase to you guys here in today's video. But overall, this is a really solid SMG, pretty much the fastest TTK to about that 13-14 meter mark. So you will absolutely dominate, and it's really solid. So first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna go into the barrel section. I'll show you guys my preferred build, and then I'll show you a couple variations of things you guys can run on it to make it a little bit better, or like maybe your personal taste. First thing we have is the long barrel. Just increase out the damage range as much as humanly possible. The bullet velocity is perfectly fine because the range we are using this at is going to be very close range. This is not like a sniper support, which we're not ever going to use that, this for that. If anything, you're going to use like an LC-10 or something else like that. But this is primarily just a close quarters SMG. After that underbarrel, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through on that Ranger foregrip here for that horizontal recoil control and that sprinting movement speed. I personally really like this. This is like my go-to. I've actually ran a couple different setups here on this thing. Like I said, I'll show you guys more of them. But the Ranger foregrip works great all the time, and you really don't have a lot of like side-to-side recoil. It's mainly the vertical recoil you have to kind of worry about. Magazine, my preference is going to be extended mag 2, though there really isn't genuinely anything wrong with using extended mag 3. I just prefer to have a little bit more mobility. I think 50 rounds in the mag is still great. So overall, the extended mag 2 or 3, you really aren't going to be able to go wrong with. Choose either or of them. I think for right now, I'll just choose extended mag 3 since I think a lot of you guys out there will probably prefer to go for extended mag 3. Rear grip section, I'm going to go in here, throw in the ergonomic grip. I mean, this is the best close range grip in the entire game, rear grip wise. You guys have to use this on your SMGs. It is just, it's the bee's knees. It makes sense. It's got all the things we want. Obviously dive to fire is really good for when you do those diving moves. Slide to fire at ADS speed, absolutely crucial. And of course, jumping aim down sight speed, because we do like to bunny hop in this game. You're not really doing a lot of drop shotting. You kind of are doing a lot more jump shotting. So, it does everything it's supposed to. Lastly, in the stock section, we're going to go through on the infiltrator stock or the balance stock. It's pretty much up to you on what you want to run. Both of them are going to be good. Obviously, this gives you a little bit more of that aim walking movement speed. I will say that while this only has the 1 pro, as opposed to the balance stock having 4, it will make you a bit of a harder target to hit when you're aimed down sights and you're able to move a little bit faster. That does help you avoid some shots. Like, it seriously will mess people up. So go ahead and run this. It will be quite nice. That or the balance, it's up to you guys. But here's going to be my general full build, and let me alter it just a couple ways for you. So you can run it exactly like that, or you can go into the muzzle section, take off that, and maybe run just the compensator. This is kind of an unconventional but really solid build. Or you can even take off the infiltrator stock and go through on something like, let's say, the vertical foregrip or the Ranger foregrip, and kind of run it like this and make it a little bit more controllable. Next up, the number 2 slot here, I got to give you guys a build here for the Grau, as this and like the GPR, which I covered in one of my previous videos, is essentially like the top 2 long range options in the game right now. So of course, I got to show y'all builds for them. First thing, of course, we're going to go through on the Grau conversion kit. Otherwise, you're not going to do anything. You're going to be running a 3-round burst SWAT, which is not good. So get, of course, throw that on there. Now we're going to go in here, magazine, of course, just the full auto magazine. Ain't got to explain this one. Underbarrel, this is also pretty standard for an assault rifle, which means you're going to go through on the vertical foregrip. No reason to go down here and mess with anything else. You're using this as a primary long-range AR, so you want to run the vertical foregrip. After that, we're going to go in here to the muzzle section. This is where you can kind of get a little bit up for debate on what you want to run. The ported compensator is going to be great for a lot of people that maybe struggle with overall recoil control in the game. Nothing wrong with that. Different skill levels for everybody, but the ported compensator is going to be really good, and I would recommend for you guys to go for that. Or in my case, I like to go for the mono suppressor, as I'm, I'm like a very good Call of Duty player. I have no issue, getting a lot of high kill games. I'm good at the game, so for me, messing with the recoil control is really not going to do a whole lot. So especially on the Grau, this is very minimal, and it's something that I can control. So I'm going to go for the mono suppressor, but largely speaking, everyone else can go for the ported, compensator, and just kind of choose between these two, seeing what works best for you. But overall, these two are going to be your options. Lastly, we're going to go into the rear grip section, and we're going to go through on the commando grip just to make ourselves a little bit faster. This is one of those attachments that you could switch out for maybe a stock if you want to, or even like an optic if you want to go that route with the growl. So this would be that interchangeable attachment. So for me, I'm going to go for a rear grip to make myself just a little bit more speedy, just have a bit more mobility out of my primary long range gun as we are utilizing the iron sights. So I really like this, and this right here is my full build. Next up is going to be a nice build here for the C9. I've been really enjoying using the C9 here a little bit more recently. Of course, all the guns in BO6 got either attachment buffs or buffs, and some other guns got nerfed, making a lot of guns even a little bit better. The C9 has just stayed up there consistently at the top of the pack with the best SMGs to run. So let's give you guys the build. First thing, we're going to go through on that long barrel to increase our overall damage range. I have ran the reinforced. I have gone back to the long barrel. I think it's pretty negligible on what you actually feel in terms of like the bullet velocity increase. I will say the long barrel does work out, I think, a little bit better overall just for using this as an SMG. This is once again not a sniper sport SMG, but it will give you a pretty decent amount of range to be able to land some good shots and get a pretty solid TTK. So you're not going to be feeling like you're at a loss using the long barrel because you don't have the bullet velocity. If you're not hitting your shots, that means you probably should switch over to your AR at that point, you know, just because that's outside your effective range with this gun. On the barrel section, we're going to go throw on the Ranger foregrip. I know the G grip is in here. They added it in, but it truthfully has not been that useful of an attachment. That's kind of the case with a lot of the things they do in this game, where they add something in like, you know, like a conversion kit. Like obviously the best one's the growl, right? But anything they've added in like for the SVD, or they added something in like a binary trigger for, what was it? The striker pistol, whatever it is. I forget what it is, but they're all been trash. So, I mean, largely a lot of things kind of suck, but the Ranger is what y'all should be sticking with here. Magazine, we're going to go throw on extended mag 2, as this is indeed the move. We don't need to go down here and use the auto 30 round mag. This is kind of like a little bit more of a niche thing. If you guys want to go for it, you can. I just always go for extended mag 2 as it has a great TTK, and unless you're trying to glitch this thing out, I'm not sure if the glitch is patched, I don't think it's going to be better, because it made it feel like, or it made the game think you had, you know, a 50 round 10 mil mag. So it was a cool glitch, but overall that was the only reason I'd ever go down there and use that, was just to try that glitch out. And I only did it once just because, you know, I was trying to get a video done. Rear grip section, we're gonna go, of course, throw on the ergonomic grip here once again, so you guys want to go ahead and throw that on. And then in the stock section, what I've been really liking here more recently is going to be the infiltrator stock. This is a beautiful stock on this thing, and I really do enjoy getting that strafe ability. It does help me avoid shots, have more aim assist, kind of all the above. So it is really quite nice. So go ahead and slap that on there. That is going to be your full C9 build. Now this next one may catch some of you guys off guard because it is the TR2. But what I want you guys to know is, of course, since they nerfed the DM10, the next gun up after that is really, really good, as long as you have the ability to spam fire it, you have, you know, some good accuracy, is the TR2. This is more of a higher skilled weapon. So if you can't spam it properly, it's not going to work for you. But otherwise, if you can, it's going to be very, very effective. So first thing here we're going to go do is we're going to go throw on the Willis 3 times. This is what I believe to be the best. This is that gun you're not going to be using at close range. You're not going to go throw a regular red dot sight on it. You know, I'd say this is going to be something you want to have a higher magnification, just because you can pick people off. Much like you did with the DM10, you want to have that 3 times or maybe a 2 times. You don't need to go for anything above this, as the optics just get worse, and we don't need to go above a 3 times. Muzzle section, this is where you guys want to run the compensator. Unfortunately, we're not going to go for a mono suppressor or something else like that. The big thing with this is that over a prolonged period of time of spam firing it, that kick is really going to be kind of brutal. So we need to make sure we control that as much as possible. And the compensator works better. I know the ported compensator has that first shot recoil control, but overall you get that first shot, and it might be good if you're really, really slowly firing. But for everybody else that's actually going to try and, you know, spam it, you probably should just run the compensator, as that will do way more for you in trying to hit those consistent, you know, follow-up shots, as opposed to just having maybe 1 or 2, you know, be good. We want to make sure that we're good for spamming. Barrel section, what we're going to do is we're going to throw on that gain twist barrel to increase out our overall bullet velocity. This is absolutely crucial right here. We can see that we get out to 1,377 meters, which is absolutely absurd. And you can see your damage profile is ridiculous. That's why this thing is essentially the, the DMR replacement. So you definitely want to go ahead and run the gain twist barrel on this thing. On a barrel section, you're going to throw on that vertical foregrip here. You got to stabilize this out to the absolute max. And then in the magazine section, why am I throwing on a suppressor? In the magazine section, you guys can kind of, realistically speaking, go for whatever you want. You could throw on the flip mag, you could throw on the fast mag, extended mag. I ran extended mag 2 when I was using this in game, and it felt great. So overall, choose a magazine that works good for you. I'd say probably the flip mag if you're going to do anything in terms of making it faster, but overall go for extended mag 2 and extended mag 1. I'm not really sure what the full auto mod thing here is. I guess I have to go ahead and remove that. But anyways, we're going to run extended mag 2, and you guys should be using that. That right there is going to be your full TR2 build. And last but not least today, it is going to be the Amy's 85. This has not made an appearance in a top 5 in forever because it got nerfed quite substantially, and over all the different patches it has steadily gotten just a little bit better, and now it's pretty decent. So we're gonna hop in here to the optic section, and I'm gonna go for basically my go-to optic, which is gonna be the Volziski Reflex. I'm not really a big fan of running, the 3 times on this gun. I just don't like that. I would go for the Volziski, maybe the Kepler Microflex, and then I basically would just change both of them to a blue dot. So we're gonna go and just kind of do that right now real quick, because everyone should have the blue dot, which makes it so much better. Muzzle section, what we're gonna do is we're gonna go throw on that compensator. You guys need that. The Amy's will still have that kick, so you definitely want to run the compensator on this thing. It is indeed the move. Barrel section, y'all want to run the gain twist barrel, as this right here is going to get you out to 1,232 meters a second. Also, when you take a look at the reinforced barrel, we can see that our damage at effective range is 39.1 versus 35.6. It's literally like a 3 to 4 meter difference. So it's not going to make much of a difference at all, or anything that is noticeable. So we'd rather just have our bullets register faster and be able to travel better, as opposed to having an extra like 2 to 3 meters of range. It'd be different if this was like, 35 to 45 meters. That'd be a different thing, different story. But overall, the gain twist right here is what we should be running. Under barrel, vertical foregrip here as always. And then the magazine section, extended mag 2. 60 rounds in the mag. I'm a 60 round mag kind of guy. Haven't said that in a while, but this is what we do. Anyways, that's been my top 5. You guys enjoyed the vid, give it a like, subscribe, check out this other video on screen, and I'll see you all next time.